Got his job. Yeah.
Posted the event.
Okay.
Now you copy the link, right?
Sure. No.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah, been here forever.
Good for you.
I even knew your dad. That's how long ago.
That's a long.
I know.
No, don't say that, because then people want to put an age on you when you do that.
No, I know. Definitely.
Good. I was excited. Somebody, Sean, I think Sean said to go back to like the back end. Can't imagine him ever being that way. Sometimes they tell us where to sit. So I didn't know, that's why I was hanging out to see if it directed my life.
Well, the doctor said that it doesn't heal this time.
Okay, well, I waited for somebody to direct my life. I'm seated.
He'll get a second opinion from the doctor.
Well, no, you're venting.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're busy venting. So there was nobody directing. And so I asked Sarah, and she said, she's very good at directing. Professional. That's what she did. Well, you're good at that too, usually.
His body.
Obviously not good enough because he fell by the way here somewhere.
He's trying to be really good at body.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right. He always talks about here's Herman. Anything like that. But look at the other surgeries. And my youngest sister was really struggling on the inside. All of them. And I was born on Easter. One on the outside. They both have really good paying jobs. Kitchen and I think built up.
telling people
I would like to find out.
Yeah, once you're an adult, yeah. I just kind of like waited and then bounced off to somewhere That's right, yeah.
I'm shocked you can't remember we were there.
I don't know who was up
You're so
there. And we invited like his immediate family. I can't tell you the 30 people. This is not my strong point.
Yes.
I know I'm legally bound, Annie. That was an angle.
Well, that is a good thing.
Yeah.
Might be in trouble with that.
Yeah. Finally found somebody to put it up with me.
And she's adorable.
She is. No, I don't think so. I appreciate the offer.
Not the one I saw yet.
Are you looking at that for your pickup truck?
Yeah. No, there was one on like
So you know, the camera's right there.
So they're hearing your whole conversation. Oh, okay.
Yes, I think
Like I thought this was Jessie's funeral. These guys are just talking about detailing cars with striping paint. I did love guys. Wait, did you put that? Oh. It has like its own captions. I did that once for a pickup truck on a tailgate. I did a collision repair on a tailgate for a guy on a Ford pickup, and it had that plastic striping all the way around, so I did just the tailgate. It's not a service that I go out of my way to offer to people. It's like they were doing it as like a detail feature. I know, that's you. Sorry, you're making your job.
John, you're over here.
Alright, these guys?
it happens all the time.
Yeah.
They just look at your seat. Yeah, that's what it passes. Shake, get that stand up.
Welcome, everyone. As some of you know, my wife Nancy and I came here from the Philippines. That's our home. I'm a permanent resident there, proud of it. And I just asked Sherry, are we going to start on American time or Filipino time? We're so glad that you are here and thankful for you taking time out of your Sunday afternoon nap, time away from watching football, and whatever else you usually do on a Sunday afternoon. I will admit to you, I am pleasantly shocked at how many people have come. I was in the funeral business for a few years, and I've never seen this kind of turnout for this aged person. Usually, all the friends are gone already, and everybody else has an excuse for staying home. This is a wonderful tribute, and I told Sherry specifically that if it exceeded my expectations, I would admit it publicly, and I am admitting it publicly.
I told him you would come.
Can I ask someone please to get me a glass of water, because I'm already dry. Thank you. I want to say that this arrangement of the chairs and this configuration of the room is not what we had in mind, but it's what we received. We came to the consensus that the best memorial that we did for Mom, thank you, darling. If you have not met my wife, this is my lovely wife, Nancy. I'm her husband. I went from being Bernie's son to Jeremy's father to Nancy's husband. If you don't know me, my name is Glenn. If you do know me, my name is also Glenn. We, during the weeks of Mom's progressive illness, various ones would sit around in the living room at her home, and we would just tell stories, and we would laugh, and then we would get serious a little bit, and then we would tell more funny stories. And that's what we wanted to create today, okay? So this seating configuration is not conducive for that, but we want you to have that attitude. We're going to start out with some funny stories to try to break the ice, and I want you to think of some of the funny stories, funny encounters that you have had with Mom over the years. We'll get to the serious stuff, and that'll come in time. But we want to start out lighthearted because we really felt like when we were all sitting around, when you came down, and Judy and Chuck came and met us there, and others in the family would come, and we would just sit around in the living room and talk. And Mom would be there, and it would look like she was asleep. Until you said something, and she wanted to make a comment, right? The instance I remember was I was sharing with, I think, Sherry and Nancy, somebody, about some of my musings in the middle of the night. I had gone to bed, and Mom was sitting there in her recliner and sleeping, and I told whoever was there, I went to bed, but rather than going to sleep, I started waxing philosophical. Mom. What did she say?
Eloquent.
Eloquent. Oh. So, okay, that was the atmosphere in the home, and we just, and whether it was 2 or 3 of us there with her, or she's in the other room, or 10 people in there, just sitting around, and we felt like that was the best memorial tribute to her, was that atmosphere. So that's what we're trying to create today, okay? The other thing is, I was asked who's going to preach the gospel, and I said, Mom already preached it. Okay? If you need to hear it again, then you were not hearing the first few times. So we're going to have fun. And to start off with, I want to quote that famous American philosopher, W.C. Fields. Some of you don't know who W.C. Fields is. Some of us do, right? And you're already prepared. W.C. Fields, and I cannot do his voice, said something like, when you lose a parent, that is tragic. When you lose another parent, that is carelessness. Now, for those of you who think that was inappropriate for me to say on this occasion, I can take you to the counter in Mom's home where she was sitting on this side and Sherry was sitting on this side, and I told that one, and Mom almost died on the spot. She was laughing hard enough that she couldn't catch her breath. So if you have a problem, it's your problem, not Mom's. The other thing that I want to tell you about, because if I don't tell you, then Sherry would probably will. So I get to, because I get first. I get first dibs. But you have to look, you have to watch. So one of the hospice nurses was there, Mike. Is Mike here? I haven't seen anybody that tall come in. So hospice, fantastic. Yeah, literally lifesavers for us. But Mike was there, and one of the student nurses was there. Mom was sitting in her recliner, but she was not in recliner position because there was company there. So she was sitting up and proper. And as Mike is talking, carrying on conversation, very slowly. Have you heard this one already? True story. Very slowly, this foot starts going up. And Sherry and I are looking at each other and looking at Mom, looking at Mike and looking at each other. And all of a sudden, Mom interrupts everything. Why is that there? There are more. I hope that sets the stage for us just to tell some fun stories, She was a wonderful lady that you had a lot of fun with, and we're going to celebrate her. Okay. I'm going to turn, now that I had my first turn, I'll turn it over to immediate family to share some funny stories. They can get more serious later on, but immediate family, this is your turn. And I'll say to everybody, when I turn it over to a group to share, if you just sit there in dead silence, this is going to be a dead ceremony. Okay, so somebody from family, go ahead and share a story, either where you're at or up here.
Yeah, go up there so we can see you.
The camera's right there.
Oh. Okay. Hey. So my immediate one that comes to mind is when Grandma wrote her book. And do we have the book?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So then you've probably heard her say. So after, I don't know, for the first few years after she wrote the book, I don't even know how long ago it was that she wrote it, but I read the book.
2013.
Thank you. So I did read the book from cover to cover. And, okay, the first time she said it, I had not read it yet. But after that, I knew that I needed to read it because anytime you would ask her a story about anything family, what would she say? Well, if you read my book, it's just the funniest. And so we would say that every time we would be like, I wonder if Grandma da-da-da, well, if you read her book. So, not in as, that snarky of a tone, but that was just funny to me sometimes.
Next.
More family.
Kids or grandkids? It's going to be a real short.
That's hard to come up with.
Maybe introduce yourself. This was Amber that just spoke.
Yeah, that was Amber. We are Glenn's kids. I was
He has
Grandma's.
a name also.
My name is Jeremy. I was Grandma's first grandchild, but not her oldest grandchild, which we like to joke about when Scott came along. We were laughing about her book the other day, and so we looked it up on Amazon. It's actually on sale on Amazon, but I really wish I wish I had known this the last time I came to see her, because there's only 2 reviews of her book. It's got 5 stars. But there's only 2 reviews, but one of them, the first one, was written by Grandma. And so I really wish I had known this the last time I was here, because I would have had a field day with that and her. And the coolest thing about Grandma was, I know she used this language with Scott and I. She called us both her special boys. And I'm sure there was language she used that was unique to every grandchild. But I could give her a hard time about silly stuff like that, and she just would laugh about it, and she would give the snark right back. Yeah, it was good.
Good. Somebody else? Of the children and grandchildren? I guess she wasn't as funny as I thought she was. Sherry doesn't have any funny memories. Seriously, Bernie and I are deeply indebted to Sherry, living here for 9 years, taking care of Mom. At first, just little errands, and then each year a little bit more. After her procedure, she was living there full time until Nancy and I came and gave a little breather, but we give her a bad time, but none of this could have happened without her. Okay, is that it for the family? Okay, that's close bonds for you. Extended family, cousins, or whatever. I'm going to move on because I'm standing on my feet and you're not, so I'm... Okay. In recent years, there were three main focal areas of Mom's life. Earlier, before most of you knew her, she was teaching in Hermiston and other places, but her main career was teaching in Hermiston. But people here basically know her in Lincoln County and these three areas of her life: tops, taking off pounds sensibly. Some do, some don't. Pacific Homes Beach Club, and then the church here and her involvement here. So what I want to do, and I hope it works a little bit better with the rest of you than it did with the family, that we have a person already designated to say something at the beginning. They are prepared or semi-prepared to speak from their experience in one of these circles of interest. But then others who knew Mom in that context, we want you to chime in also. You don't have to come up here. We can take the mic to you. But we hope that you will join in the conversation. Tell funny stories, tell serious stories, get involved. We're going to start with tops, with her dear friend Veda Robinson. And I don't know what all you're prepared to tell, Veda, but you have to tell the pants story among everything else. But Mom, they shared, their birthdays were very close to the same time, and so they would celebrate together, and Mom would come away from those saying, we just sat there and laughed and laughed and laughed. So Veda, tell us all about it.
Okay, well, this story has been told I don't know how many times, but this time I'm by myself. But I know she's listening, so I'm trying to be truthful. I met her and I are here as witnesses. Okay. I met Jessie in 2012 when I joined TOPS. And of course she was quite active in that, and she welcomed me, and we became very good friends. And one year we went to a program that TOPS puts on once a year, and all the chapters of Oregon go, and we share rooms at a motel, and of course Jessie and I shared our room, which was fun in itself. And we did our program that day, and we did what we were supposed to, and saw the awards, and we always had an ice cream place picked out. So after we ate the healthy dinner that they provided, we always drove by the ice cream store and had our dessert. So then we got back up to our rooms, and I was getting my things ready for the next day, and I realized that I was missing a pair of black slacks. So I looked everywhere, and I said, Jessie, did you take my pants? Did you take, are you hiding them or what? And she said, well, of course, I didn't take your pants. So I said, okay. Well, then she was standing across the room, and I looked at her, and she had black pants on. And I said, I think you're wearing my clothes. Oh, it's not possible. I said, well, let me see the label in there. And of course, they were my slacks. And right then, we started laughing. And we laughed. And then a couple of the other gals that were close in their room, here they came because they couldn't stand all the laughing. And they wanted to know. So it took us a while to quit laughing, to tell them the close one time. And then it was just hysteria from there. And there were just many wonderful times with her.
Thank you very much. Someone else from TOPS. want to share for a couple minutes. I have to, don't raise your hand at a time like that. I'll think you're volunteering. Okay, now I need to warn you, other than the prepared speakers, I have been advised by people very experienced in these things that you only get 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, the hook comes in and the bump.
I don't know if I can be funny in only 2 minutes, but I always felt like I knew where I stood with Jessie. She was very direct. I always enjoyed her. I had the privilege of knowing her first from the Nazarene Church, and then in 2005, I think it was, I joined the TOPS group. So we were going out to eat, a group of us, after TOPS, because what else do you do when you go somewhere to lose weight? You go eat. Anyway, so we went out to eat, and I noticed that she was, we were eating at Pig and Pancake, and I noticed that she was eating those crepes, the strawberry crepes, and I said, how is it that you eat strawberry crepes and Mabel and I are dividing salad, and I weigh more than 100 pounds more than you do? She said, well, Anna, I don't do it all the time. We thought that was so funny.
Thank you, Anna. Good. Somebody else from TOPS. Okay. Stay there, Mabel. Stay there. It's okay.
I just wanted to say that Jessie and I have been friends many, many years. I met her first at TOPS and then at the Church of the Nazarene. And I had a big time and an honor one time. And Jessie went there to help me. And boy, did she ever. And she just did all she could to help. And she was just right there. And she got on the stage with me, and she helped me there. And then she helped on typing and anything else that she could do for me. I don't know how funny this story is, but anyway, she did. She was just that way. And I was like Anna. I said, you always knew how you stood with Jessie because she was very direct. She was like kind of a ball of fire sometimes, you know. That was kind of Jessie.
Thank you. Anyone else from TOPS? Okay, some memorial services, they pause in between and you can look at the slides. These are just going, okay? Deal with it. Okay, that's all we got from TOPS. Okay, from Pacific Homes Beach Club. I always want to say Bible Club, but it's not, it's Beach Club. Robert is going to speak on behalf from there.
First. And my name is Bob Kelps. I was a neighbor of Jessie's, who lived right across the street. Known her for about 20 years or so. And one night she called about, I say 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, I know this story.
She says, Robert, could you come over? I heard a little scratching in my house here, and I don't know what it is. Sure, I'll be right over, Jessie. So I walked over there, and I was listening. Oh, yeah, sounds like an animal someplace. She says, it sounds like it's coming from my dresser. So I look behind the dresser. And see a little hole in the wall. So I say, uh-oh. So I still hear it. But Jessie, it's okay if I go through your dresser? You know, there might be some of your personal items in here. I said, no, get rid of that creature. Oh, he says, okay. So I started opening the drawers. And open the first drawer, nothing. Open the second drawer, nothing. Open the third drawer, and out jumps, I thought it was a rat, but it was a big ass squirrel with a big long tail. It jumps up and runs out into the living room. I said, Jessie, we got to get rid of this thing out of here. So I'm trying to gather it up, and it goes behind the couch, and I chase it out behind the couch. I says, Jessie, you got a broom, got a couple of brooms? She says, yeah, I got a broom. And I tell you what, she could have been a hockey player. Really. I mean, we open the front door, and I'm trying to round this squirrel up around the house. Finally, I get it running toward the door, and as it's coming toward the door, she goes, whack! I said, Jessie, you could have been a hockey player. You hit the puck out of that little squirrel. And, you know, I always told her, Jessie, you're my hero. I want to be...
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you for being a good neighbor all those years. Oh, that's great. As soon as you started that, I knew what the story was. That's great. Okay. Anybody else from Pacific Homes Bible Club, Beach Club?
Nope. I'm opening the window, you're full.
I told you not to raise your hand.
Oh, thank you.
My name is Joyce Creed, and I lived at Pacific Homes Beach Club also for the last, 18 years. And I only saw Jessie pretty much. She was on our board for a while, but then I would see her around the clubhouse and out in the common grounds walking the dog, because she's always had a dog. So, I'm out there in the backyard. We lived on Coos. Now we live on Douglas. We liked it so much we moved a block, Anyway, so I'm out in the backyard, and here comes Jessie with Winky, the one with a little one eye, right? So I'm looking, going, where'd you get that? And she said, oh, I'm just watching it for a friend. I'm definitely not keeping this dog. And I don't know how many years she had Winky, but you would always see him wandering around with Winky. He was a great dog. He was the tan one, yeah. He was good, and she was funny. No, Winky was tan. He was great too. But anyway, but she always surprised me because she was, she's a little tiny, and she was always gray hair as long as I knew her. She was pretty much, and you would think, sweet, lovable, kind. You're not going to say much, Wrong. She always surprised me with some of the things she came out with. It was fun. She was fun. She was a nice lady.
Thank you. Anybody else? You got something more, Mabel? I didn't know you lived at Pacific Homes.
Winky, and that made me think. I babysat Winky for Jessie 2 or 3 times, and when I babysat Winky, I got stared at. I never was stared at so much in my life. He stared and stared and stared and stared. I said, well, Jessie will be home later.
Good. Anybody else? Okay. I want to embarrass one lady. I want to say special thank you to Sue Philo for, there was one day in particular, I think Sherry was gone and Nancy and I needed to go do something, and we needed somebody as soon as we could to come and sit with Mom because she might get in trouble. So Sue, on a drop of a hat, came and sat with her and has always been a good friend. Thank you, Sue. Is that enough embarrassment for you? Okay. Mom specifically asked that her grandchildren would sing How Great Thou Art. So they're going to come now. Sean and Amber are going to be doing the main singing. The grandsons, those of the grandsons who want to, will be accompanying on guitar. She asked that they sing it. And I know many of us want to sing along. Hum very, very quietly. Okay.
very nice voice.
Thank you so much.
Well, to avoid this, where's my? To avoid this getting too serious too soon, thank you to each of you for singing that. Some mental pictures went through my head, right? We're going to take a break. I know we've got a crowd of people, but we're going to take a break because we have refreshments over there, and they've been calling my name. I don't know about your name, they've been calling my name. We're going to take a break, and at some point, you will hear the beautiful sound of a bagpipe warming up. And when you hear that, then we'll ask you to return to your seat. And Chris, is that right? Yes. Chris Johnson will play Amazing Grace. This is in honor of Mom's Scottish ancestry. If you don't know it, her father was born and raised in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, far northeast, and then came here and kept his Scottish brogue for the next however many years. So we'll take a break, and then after a while, Chris will start waking up his pipes, the bagpipes, not the other pipes. And we'll ask you to take your seat then, okay? Everyone stand, please, and head to the food.
Yeah, I'm like, I have that tree is something else, show the ground, I'm like, okay, anything to make it look cute, let's put her up there, because that's what it's all about, right? That tree is it's all in the spruce or whatever, I can't every time we go international, just pick me up, it's slice her like a little butter,
I helped pay in like, so here you can kind of see the start of the deck, right? Bigger board cover. There it is before it was cleaned up. Like there's all that, I guess, right, and cleaned up the body, right? There's the headstock. Before it was shaped, he sent me this photo, and I'm like, this is awesome, and I'm like, right? And I'm like, are we still gonna do that? And he's like, oh yeah. So here's like real look before it was, you know, done. And he's like, oh, yeah, we're doing that now. He threw that in, right? So, and so then here's my miniature, right? And they're happy and all. It's sort of kind of effect. It's just to route. Here it is. That's all in there. That's a little start to come into play. Right? Just coming along. They don't twist the right way. You know, because you're going to just, you know, like when I go through my ovation, right, and then here, okay, so, I just understand the door, belly hit it left side, Canada still, is first base, okay, very much like this, right? Just a little much stronger, right? And it's step down. Please use the left replacement. So we went there quite a bit, and we had a show there, and they always feel like, yeah, they're like really close to like 7, unless it's like one day, like number 2 years Eve or something, right? So we'll usually play from 3 to 6. Maybe not the same as she is, right? She isn't right. I'm not expecting her to think about it. Because I've been a fan of them, but it's a little, you know, they play a lot of 80s and 90s. She was pretty senior, right? And Aussies, right? Yeah. Leah's just like that. She looks at me and she looks at me and she's like, and I'm like, I know. We end up staying there like almost the show, like, and it's really true, but you put the wrench, you know, the Allen wrench, and I like a case. I go, and I'm like, I want to bring in my guitar, and you can play it, right? And he's like, yeah. Right? If you were to look up, go on the website, their email, call them, like, one of your glory, she's like, $5,000. That's just what it is, $5,000. You know, anything else, you know, keep it. But outside the door, it's sort of normal person like that. Right? He's like, you know, probably barely straight 5 in the 35.
Thank you, darling. Anna came to me and asked, she got a friend, she and Mabel got a ride here with a friend, but they're going to need a ride for somebody else to go home. They can't climb up into something, any of your four-wheel, need a ladder kind of thing, or something. They both have walkers. So if you can help with this valuable ministry, reach out to Anna and Mabel.
We're over here.
Oh, we know where you are. Okay. I still remember standing beside my mother when I was a child, hearing her singing alto as we were singing the various songs in worship and other services. In fact, I learned to harmonize, and since then forgot, but I learned to harmonize by singing along with her and then transferring that to some of the other parts. Music formed a huge part of Mom's life. I'm not sure if I was ever more shocked than when I found. Those of you who are longtime Nazarenes, you know that dancing used to be one of the cardinal sins, right? That was not a venial sin, that was a mortal sin. So I was never so shocked as when I learned that my mother, in private, of course, in private, when the Christian song would get her stirred, and she would be dancing to the Christian songs.
Well, she was Scottish, you know.
I don't know what that has to do with it, but okay.
Always doing a jig.
All of that to introduce, Sherry has prepared 5 songs. Only the first verse of each of them. The words will be here on the screen. If you're at the back, I'm sorry, it's up here. There are some empty seats. Sing along to the degree you know the song. I don't even know which songs they are, but Sherry's going to play piano for this medley for these 5 songs.
So before we do that, that's what I was kind of saving whatever I was going to do for now. Mom always sang throughout her day. Sang.
and who knew what song it would be. It most likely was a hymn of some kind, or but it also could have been a popular song from when she was a kid. She just always sang. And so Dad didn't really need to turn the radio on because Mom sang in the car. and things like that. We traveled together, and pretty soon songs coming out. And then I just join her and sing harmony. And so we learned music early. Mom made sure that all three of us took piano lessons at some point. One of the things I would say is that I found out many years after I had left home. I had kids of my own, and I played, they had come to visit us in Montana, and I had been working really hard on a song that was a mix of I believe it was How Great Thou Art, and I don't remember what classical piece it was, but it was a mix of the two. It was a really hard song, and I was so excited to be able to play it for my parents when they came. And I played it, and the next thing I knew, I don't remember which one of them said it, but they said, "If only Mr. Fisher could hear you now." Mr. Fisher had been my piano teacher when I was in junior high. And he had apparently told them that they should stop paying for piano lessons for me. So that I would never do anything with it. And I just knew I changed piano teachers within a week. So I didn't know why. And until that day, and they actually probably didn't need me to let that slip at that time. But I'm so thankful they just went ahead and just changed piano teachers. And as I've said before, I don't know too many middle school kids who practice anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Because I've taught a lot of piano students, and that's kind of the age where they go, well, maybe. So anyway, I'm just grateful that they believed in me and kept me going and got me to someone that inspired me to keep going, and taught me how to play hymns, and taught me and classical. I mean, I play a lot, but anyway, back to the her songs. I only came up with 5 just because I could have probably gone all day, and we didn't want to do that. And some of these I came up with are because Mom would even wake up in the middle of the night with a song on her mind, and then if she couldn't, if she didn't get quite all the words, because she'd go through every verse, and if she didn't quite get the words, then she would get up, usually the next morning, but sometimes in the night, and go to the hymnal, find it, and start copying the words so that she could remember the words. And so I found a couple of these in her stockpile of notes, and then some are just ones that I remember her singing a lot. And please join me. I'm not here to just do a solo. So, but this is one that I remember her doing a lot, actually several years ago. I haven't heard it necessarily quite as much in recent times, but I better change my glasses. Otherwise I have to go like that. It's not fun. Okay. all the words written down in her bedside table. So. Come thou fount of every blessing, to my heart to sing thy praise. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious song, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mount I'm fixed upon it, mount of God's unchanging love. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. Thou art the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy will, while I am waiting, yielded and still. That was another one I found in. Okay, one more. Yeah. This one is my song, but it's also a mom's song, and we sang quite a bit in the last few months.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, everybody who joined in. The third circle of Mom's involvement was here at Newport Church of the Nazarene. 31 years ago, she joined as an official member, served as missions president for 12 years, Sunday school teacher for 6, or maybe I have that reversed, but I think that's the order that she gave me. And the church had short-term mission trips before she came, but it had kind of fallen by the wayside, and when she came as missionary president, then she reinstituted that, which was followed up by various trips. She and I went to Guatemala in 1994, so she would have been 70 years old when we went there, or approaching when we went there for a short-term work and witness trip. Kim is going to share first on behalf of the church. Come on up, Kim Haddon, and then others from the church here will have opportunity.
Hi, I'm Kim Haddon. When I read what it says here, impact on people from Church of the Nazarene, that sums it up better than anything. Jessie Culbertson had a huge impact on my life in ways that I've been reflecting on the last couple of days. So I first bonded with Jessie over teaching. She had just retired and I was just starting. And so it was always wonderful to see her on Sunday, and she'd go, how's it going? How are the kids? And then later on, which I did not realize until today, that she reinstated the mission trips. Because they went to Guatemala in 94, and I went to Venezuela in 97 or 98. And on the way back, God completely changed my plans. And he called me to full-time ministry of some sort. I didn't know what. And I won't bore you with all the details because Jessie will be like, get to the point. I ended up living and serving in Venezuela for almost 8 and Ecuador for almost 2. And Jessie that whole time was so encouraging and so wonderful. Every time I'd come home, because I would come home every year and substitute teach so I could go back because I was a volunteer. And she just was so supportive and encouraging, and she advocated for me, and she kept my name and my face in front of the congregation even when I was gone. And she was just so wonderful. But somebody said something about her being direct. Oh, wow. Yeah, she was. But I always knew it was from a place of love. And I'll tell you what, I don't remember what grade she taught. Third grade? Third? I would not have wanted to be the naughty kid in 3rd grade. There's no way. But I always knew it was from a place of love. And she told me one time, she's like, you got to stop writing about all your trips. We don't care where you drove and how long it took you to get there. And I was like, okay. My updates changed after that, but today I was looking for some of the nice things that she wrote to me so I could share. I couldn't find them, but I found my updates. She was 100% correct. They were so long. It was like, it took me this many hours to get here, and this many, so anyway, that was just that was the first thing I remembered about Jessie, but then I just loved her so much, and I always loved it when she came to church and get a hug, and we're going to miss her a lot around here, and I just love her. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak about her impact.
Thank you, Kim. Somebody else from here, Newport Church of the Nazarene. Ken, I know you had got something. Okay? Yeah, got a word for it.
Kathy Haddon, I'm her mom. Anyway, that impacted us a lot too when she went to South America, but we've been so grateful for it. But Jessie, the last time she was in church was not very long ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe at the most. I happened to be standing out in the foyer, and she came across there, and she kind of leaned towards me, and I leaned down. I didn't want her to try. Leaned down and gave her a really soft hug.
but you always felt important when you were around Jessie. And she always was so loving and encouraging, and I'm gonna miss her a lot.
Several years ago, the women's ministry, they were having picnics and get-togethers during the summer, and I got the privilege of hosting a ladies' gathering out in our yard, and the ladies, there were certain people who were supposed to bring a box talk. And here comes Jessie. She was the selected one for that particular picnic, and she had a great big huge cardboard box. It was the most wonderful. I was fascinated. She talked about growing up in the shepherd's wagon. Oh my goodness. What really made it fascinating to me was when I was a little girl, growing up in the 50s and the 60s, we would travel back to Iowa, and through Wyoming, we would go in August, and there would be shepherd's wagons. And we were fascinated by that. As little kids, my brothers and I, my sister hadn't come along yet, but that was so cool. And here comes Jessie, and she's pulling out bells. And I really can't remember what else she pulled out, but it was wonderful. It was so neat to hear her talking about being a little girl herself in something that I had always kind of wondered, what did they do? You know, how did they survive in those wagons out there in the summertime in the pastures or the great big huge mountains of Wyoming? It was so neat. And I could, why didn't I think of this? Record it, hello. And I didn't, but I hope some of you guys did somewhere, because that was so interesting. I loved it.
It's in her book.
Yeah, I'm Rich Wonky. Attended this church for many years. We've been down south in North Bend now for the last 10 or 15 years, I guess. But we had a privilege of being in a position to be able to help Jessie. And she was always, I'm sure the list could go on and on about how many times she stuck out her hand to be able to help others. Her Christian faith, for where she walked, how she walked, was never in question. And we were doing the way I can remember time is the job we were on. But we were doing a job up at Timber, Oregon, maybe 30 years ago now, or 25. And we knew she was going on a trip back to where? Riverton, Wyoming. Should be a hot spot on your map. And she was not sure she was ready to go. She didn't know exactly how to do. Single woman all by herself. By this time she was every bit of 20, 22. Anyway, I don't know how old she was, but getting right up there. And she drove all the way back. And one day Karen and I had just gone from our office trailer over to our fifth wheel up there to have lunch. And the phone rang. And it was Jessie. And she was just in tears. The kind of sobbing that is, you're broken up in your speech. You know, it's just, you know, from the down, I'm hurting sobbing. And she said, I don't know what I'm going to do. Her brother was in a very difficult condition. He wasn't completely mentally all stable and everything. He wasn't in control of a lot of his facilities. And she said, we've got to travel 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 or however many miles that is from that beautiful country. And so anyway, she said, I just don't know how I'm going to do this. And so we sat there at our kitchen table there in the brush up there at Timber and had a nice prayer. You know, how times you have prayers that you know are prayers that you know God's hearing them. They're good solid Nazarene prayers. And other times you just don't know how hard you hit the heart of God. Well, this was one when we were done. We were no doubt in our mind that we had hit the heart of God on this one. And so that was, we prayed quite a little bit more. And she says, okay. She says, well, I better get going. And so Karen and I went to the office completely confident, knowing that this was going to be, a good trip. Jessie got to the hospital, and I'm not sure if it was the next day or very soon thereafter. And she says, again, kind of crying on her phone, she says, you'll never guess, she says, what I'm seeing. She was afraid of how she was going to get her brother in her car and to get all of his stuff packed and then get him back here. She said, because the last time she seen him, he couldn't even talk. He couldn't walk. He couldn't do anything. So here he was sitting in a wheelchair by the curb. As soon as he seen her car, she jumped up. He jumped up, walked over to her car, and he said, well, you ready to go home? And she was just amazed. She said, I never in a million years would have guessed that would ever happen. And so anybody who ever has any doubt that prayer still isn't answered, at least it wasn't 60 or 70 years ago, or however long ago that was. But anyway, but Jessie was always a prayer warrior. We worked with her on many projects. She was a very good friend to Karen. We very seldom made a trip through town without seeing her. But she truly will be missed. And she didn't do a bad job on raising her family either.
Thank you, Ken. This is wait, let me get my notes. I don't want to get ahead of myself. The schedule says reading of obituary, but I'm going to assume that most of you know how to read. It's in there. And it's the expanded version is in the book, yes. She was born Upper Peninsula, Michigan. She's a Yupper by birth, and then raised from very early in the mountains of Wyoming. Her father was a sheep herder, and I'll say some more about her in a little while, about the family. I want to give opportunity for more of the family to share her impact in your life. Spiritual, otherwise, whatever. Some more family members, this is your opportunity. Start your time watch.
Yep, because I wrote a novel. Impact. I wrote this in order for me just to read it because some of you might not be able to understand my pronunciation. I'm from the Philippines, and I'm Glenn's wife, and I'm Jessie's daughter-in-law. Mom would say, duh, you silly girl. I like her when she would tell me, you silly girl. And that's endearment for me, and she would say that in a nice way. I'm ready. Okay. In September 2020, Glenn came from here, coming back from the U.S. to the Philippines with a gift from Mom, Jessie. Glenn flew from the Philippines to the U.S. in July of that same year in the midst of COVID pandemic. You see how, it was in the middle of that year. The gift Mom sent me was a coffee cup. I'm having difficulties. Is it a mug? How do you pronounce it? Mug. We're still doing that. Okay. In it is printed, to my daughter-in-law. I think some of you have seen something like this, right? But I still would like to read it. To my daughter-in-law, I didn't give you the gift of life. I gave you my amazing son. Thank you for not selling him to the circus. I know how tempting that option in some days. Love, your mother-in-law. That was sweet of Mom. Well, there were other gifts she gave or sent me. But this one, she nailed it. Jessie, my mother-in-law, wasn't just my husband's mother. She was the one who raised the amazing person I married and helped me transition into a wife's role when I moved to the U.S. in 2003. Oh my goodness, long year. Okay. Memories I listed just 4, but there are lots. But this is just one of the many things, the 4 things that I could remember. The first day I met her was with Glenn and 3 grandchildren, Jeremy, Amber, and Joseph, for our wedding in the Philippines in December 2002. She was 78. I heard somebody said 70, and she was still strong. She was 78. Filipino culture, when they see you, you're in the senior year, they'll ask, how old are you? How old are you? That's culture. But she looked like in her late 50s. On that day, on that day, when my brother and I met the family at the airport, we first had them ride the light railway transportation, or we said LRT. Maybe some of you have been to the Philippines. The train was crowded. Then we took another public vehicle, a jeepney, in the Philippines. Jeepneys are known as kings of the road. Colorful, open-air vehicles with loud horns and diesel engines that ferry millions of Filipinos on their daily commutes. Jeepneys, actually origin is U.S. military jeeps. Right, okay. So, passengers are cramped. Inside is hot. Plying on the busy city streets where many riders consider them an icon. She also took a pedicab. So LRT, then jeepney, and then now pedicab. What's a pedicab? Okay. With us, a pedicab is another public transportation popularly known in the Philippines as padyak, which literally means stamp the feet, referring to the act of pushing the pedals of the bicycle with the necessary strength to transport passengers. And we were 3 in there, flooded. And Mom was actually literally having her, And in all those, Mom was very flexible, didn't complain. She was just observing the culture and very polite about everything. So that was number 1. Because we will be getting married, so what kind of family is this? And Mom already showed her flexibility. And number 2 was walking together to a grocery store in Beaverton the first year I moved with Glenn in 2003. She gave me that motherly advice and helped me in my transition into a wife's role. She was kind and understanding, not being pushy. Number 3, when we moved to Hood River in 2005, because I accepted a teaching job at the high school there, Glenn also went to a mission trip to India. So when I was just new, I didn't know how to drive, so what's the option? Mom came running, helping us. She actually spent how many months? A month in India? Okay. And she drove me to the high school every day without complaint. And then helping me in our new place there, newfound home, is a small condo. And she was very supportive in everything. And that was very special to me. So, and then finally, in all those meetings, visiting here, at Newport, sorry, because I'm already thinking of going home. I cherished our talk about our faith and our opportunity to serve God in the ministry. She was our prayer warrior and supported the ministry that we were involved, not only in prayer, but also in finances. She's quiet about it, for she knows she will reap everything that she had given to God as she now facing the Lord Jesus face to face. Finally, okay, where is that? One final project. Mom always give me project when I visit her here. One final project that Mom gave me before she left us was her coin collections, and I have it there. When we arrived in September from the Philippines, she requested me to do something about these collections so she could give them to her grandchildren, Jeremy, Sean, Amber, Leah, Joseph, and Jeffrey. Did I do the right listing in there? Okay. That is another thing I appreciate about Mom. She would always had a plan. Show the project, then give it to you. Then you are on your own. She gave me the free rein to work on the project. She was very supportive. And that's the reason why in the past few weeks, even when family members would come, I would be doing something in the bedroom, because especially the grandchildren, it would be a secret for them, but I think they already have idea about what I was doing. So when I did that, the reason why was I was really in a hurry, because I know Mom is going to leave us. I would like to show her the last project she would like to give to her grandchildren. You can see it there, but you have everything in there, an album. And then when I showed it to her a week before she died, she was really teary-eyed, and saying, I really didn't know that this will take a lot of time, but thank you very much. Then she read the thing, and then when she was reading it, that's one thing about Mom. She would like to give credit to whose credit is due. She said, why is it that your name is not there? Oh, I'm thinking of a research project, a research paper. So I said, it's okay, Mom, because this is yours. No, I would like you to include, because I gave you the plan, I gave you the research, the organization is yours, and so that they will also remember who actually organized it. So I will miss my mother-in-law. And actually I wrote in here, the care, I just said that because I'm so in a hurry. I know some of you might still would like to share. But the care for her became more intense during this month. Last month. My goodness, December already. November. She was, when I'm assigned to be with her bedside, she would actually, always, all of us who actually experienced that, she would ask us, why is it that I'm still here? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Then I remember, I said, Lord, help me to help her. And one of the memory verses that I have, but I'm not going to say it, memorized, because I might misquote. It's actually in Isaiah 40:31. I told her, Mom, this is the verse that I would like to share with you. It says there, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. I told her, I assured her, that's the reason you are, this is the reason why you are not going to be weary or tired, because you're not going to walk anymore, you're not going to run anymore, but you are going to fly like an eagle with Jesus. That's not from me. I believe it's from the Holy Spirit to calm her, to give her the joy, the peace that only Jesus can give to all of us.
Amen.
Thank you. And last one. When you give a microphone to a Filipino, then you have to. So, one last thing here. This actually this I wrote, but I also give credit to somebody who actually have it written. I'll just say it, okay? That Jessie, my mother-in-law, had been and will always be my second mother. And I thank God for that. Thank you.
Well, that was more than 2 minutes, but I can't do a. I cannot do a hook on that. Okay, it occurred to me that there are family members here who are just kind of blending in. I just want each family group to stand as a group. So I'll start with my family, so I'm not picking on anybody. So my wife, my children, my grandchild. Please stand. So you can be recognized. Yes, I recognize you. Okay, thank you. Bernie, can I have your family stand, please? Everybody who will admit to being in his family.
They were rather slow, weren't they?
They were.
By marriage only.
Thank you. And Sherry's family. There we are. Okay, in the back as well. Thank you. Okay, while you're standing, any other family members who want to share?
Hello, my name is Joseph. Apparently we're the talkative group. But I think that the one quality and the one the one quality that I want to talk about from Grandma, or I don't know if it's a quality, whatever it is what she passed on to us, to all of us grandkids, was her confidence in us. And she recognized the gifts that we had, each of us have given and received, and our strengths. And she wouldn't, I just remember not the last time I saw her visited, but the previous time this summer we were able to come out. And she stopped me before I left because she knew that it might be the last time we saw each other. And she said, I don't remember how she put it, but basically what she said was, something's been bugging me that at one point, because I used to be a truck driver, and I'm proud of it. It was great. It was a great time. And honestly, to kind of backtrack, I think that the confidence that was transferred or communicated or instilled in us through our parents that really, in a large degree, came from Grandma, is what gave me the confidence to go be a truck driver when all my family's, white collar teachers and preachers, And so, honestly, there's that. But while I was doing that, there must have been one point, I don't remember it really, I sort of vaguely remember, but she remembered, where she was asking me, with the strengths and gifts you have, is this really, what you're going to do with your life? Something like that. And people have commented on her being direct, and I think there's that. And so, and I kind of pushed back. I said, hey, what's wrong with being a truck driver? My grandpa was a truck driver on my mom's side, and da-da-da. And am I telling it wrong? No. Oh. So you weren't there. So when this summer when I saw her, she reminded me of that. She said, and now what I'm doing now, not to toot my horn, but I'm working on a PhD in biblical studies. And she's like, she wanted to remind me of that time and basically to say, I was right, wasn't I? And so I was like, well, I'm not quite going to concede that point, but I definitely attribute that, confidence that she had in all her kids and her grandkids, and that, for my dad, he also, of course, your mom's always going to, be your champion. But my dad, passed that along to us, and so anyway, that's what I wanted to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other family members? Good. Good.
Can't be the only one to
I'm Leah. I was thinking about all sorts of stories and trying to remember what was appropriate. And I just was thinking about my brother, who was Grandma's other special boy, and he passed a number of years ago. And he had a lot of struggles with alcoholism and things like that, and didn't adhere to the same faith. I don't think he really knew what he believed. But no matter where he was, what he was doing, what trouble he'd been in, he never doubted that Grandma loved him, just as he was. And he was always her special boy, and he would always get fudge.
And it was his kind of fudge. It was special, yes. And you were her special daughter, special girl also. 2 special girls. Right? Okay. I got to start, I get to close. In the folder you will find an account of my mother's life. I will not read that. I trust you can read it if you want to. How Pastor Eddie does it, and I'm going to try it now. Thank you for coming, Pastor Eddie. Appreciate it. He came and visited in our home twice during Mom's last few weeks, and she really appreciated that. Instead of reading the obituary, I want to focus on one aspect that I think reveals so much about Mom and so much about what she considered most important. For the first several years of her life, Mom's family was not religious in any way. To my knowledge, they had no involvement, either formally or informally, with any religious practices. Of course, Grandpa Barber would have been Presbyterian by baptism as a child coming from Scotland, but other than that, there was no indication of any religious connection. Sometime during the Great Depression, Grandma Barber started working in a bean processing plant there in Riverton, Wyoming, where they lived. A lady working next to her, Mrs. Hetherington, became friends with her. Mrs. Hetherington invited Grandma Barber, commonly known at that time as Millie, invited Millie to attend services at the Church of the Nazarene there in Riverton. She and Mom, Jessie, attended evangelistic services there. One of the nights of the campaign, Grandma Barber and Mom, Jessie, whatever title you want to give her, one of those nights they went forward. They knelt at the altar and gave their lives to the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, before I go on, I need you to know something, at least a couple things about Mom before I go on. One thing you need to know is that one thing you need to know is that the Jessie you knew was not the Jessie who kneeled at that altar. At the age of 15, she was known for her hot temper. Now, the frankness that you know now, believe me, was, by her own testimony, was greatly reduced, greatly changed. She was a hothead, and her 3 redheaded children carried that on. At the age of 15, she was known for her hot temper. Mom told me more than once that others who knew her then expected that this religion thing would not last because of her temper. She would go back to the hot temper pretty soon. She did not. The other thing you need to know is that the notion of love, the word love, the concept love, was never a part of that home. In her entire life, her father lived to the age of 91. She never heard the word love from his mouth. Her mother died late 80s. Never heard the word love from her mouth. The closest she came was one time Grandma Barber visited my mother at college, and when she left behind a postcard with some writing on it. At the bottom, it said, "You know I love you." That is the only expression of love that my mother experienced growing up. Now you think about the woman you have been honoring for the last hour and 40 minutes. You think, yes, there was the sharp tongue, and yes, she could be snarky, and I got my share of that, given to me and given back. But the love that she showed, that was not there when she was 15. She didn't learn it from anyone else. She would want you to know that the change from the hot temper to the clear vision, the change from the unloved to the loving, is simply because of Jesus. I got off my manuscript. I got pretty close. When I think of the love we heard, the love we sensed, the love we received from Mom, I cannot avoid the compliment. You've come a long way, baby. Thank you in the program, there's reference to another song that became a favorite of Mom's in recent months, The Goodness of God. We did not prepare to do that. Go home, find it on YouTube, and enjoy it. Okay, I was going to use that as our closing. Instead, I'm going to ad-lib for Pastor Eddie to come and lead us in a closing prayer, please. I warned him this morning that it might go this way. So, can you speak loud enough from there, or do I need to bring this back to you?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Father God, we thank you for this time that we've had to share stories, to smile together, to comfort each other. Lord, to have this time with family. We thank you for the ability of getting to know Jessie and how much she has changed us, touched us, meant to us. And we thank you for being privileged to know her and her soul. I just pray that your peace would be with us as we go from this place, that we would continue to pass on the love we experienced from her to others. May your grace be with us now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Lord, refreshments over there, and things to look at on the table over there. Thank you for coming.
Nice job up there.